Good morning, precious YouTube family. It is April the 30th, 2015, and I had quite a wonderful experience with the Lord this morning, one that just about broke my heart, in a good way, I guess you could say. But before I forget, I want to tell you, we have been getting so many praise reports. So many wonderful things are happening with people who never experienced the Lord before. And now they're having visions and they're spending time with Him and He's speaking to them. And they're coming away feeling so loved and so fulfilled. I'm just overwhelmed with the move of God that's going on. Just simply sharing, that this is so possible. And God turned around and He's touched these souls that have really been longing for Him. It's been really beautiful. And to that end, I set up a blog last night, and I'll leave you a link for it. And the blog is going to be strictly encounters with Jesus by people who've never encountered the Lord before in this way. And the name of this blog is Heart Dwelling with Jesus. Entering into our hearts where the Lord lives with thanksgiving and praise. I'll enter your courts with thanksgiving and praise. It's scriptural and fellowshipping with the Lord, dwelling with the Lord in our hearts. The fruit of these prayers and this way of connecting with Him has been some wonderful, wonderful touches from the Lord. So we're going to have them on the blog, and I will leave you a link in the description box so you can go ahead and connect with it. I'm just starting out so far. I think I only have one blog entry, but I've got about 6 more that I need to put up. And if you have something you want to share with us, that the Lord has done, some special touch that He's given you, then please go ahead and enter it as a comment, I guess. I don't know the ins and outs of these things yet. But anyway, getting back to the message. I came into prayer and I felt Him so strongly, and I did see Him, and we did spend some time together. I told Him, I said, Lord, it's a miracle of grace that You would speak to me every night this way. Truly a miracle. I'm so grateful for this gift. And then the scene changed, and I saw the Lord standing where I was standing. And in front of me, He was standing in front of me, and He had His arms open wide. And as far as the eye can see, I saw people coming towards Him. His arms were outstretched, and the people were just flowing into His heart. Such a miracle of grace. All I could do was weep. And I guess here I should say, I've been getting heart-rending emails and personal messages and comments from people of all ages and all walks of life, and from all the corners of the world. I mean, from Norway to Australia to the Philippines to Alaska to, of course, the United States, and to Europe, all different parts of Europe. And Africa. I mean, it's amazing. It's just amazing the hunger that everyone has for a truly personal relationship with the Lord. Really heart-rending comments that they love the Lord and they want Him so badly, but they don't know how to talk to Him. They want to be able to hear Him, but they don't know how to listen to Him. And I'm talking about people from 14 years old to in their 80s. And they're just crying out for the Lord, and they're so loaded down with condemnation because of the religious spirits that they've been the victim of in churches, and religious spirits that have just put all these heavy weights on them, and so much condemnation. And many of them don't even understand that the Lord lives in their hearts, and they're asking me to tell Him that they're sorry. And I have to write back and say, the Lord is with you. He loves you. He lives in your heart, and He hears everything that you say and sees everything that you do, and He knows what you're going through. And my heart just goes out to them. I just want to share with them what the Lord's done in our life so that they can pick up where we're at and they can go on with their own relationship with the Lord. And I said, Lord, they want you so badly. They love you so much. They can't live without you, Lord. Oh, merciful Savior, pour out your love on these souls who are aching to be with you. Break down all the barriers and let them find that place in your heart where they'll never depart from. That place is so perfectly molded for them. It's their place alone. Oh God, hear my prayer. Look with mercy upon those who hunger and thirst for you. Be merciful, oh my God. And the Lord replied, and mercy they shall have, and love eternal they shall have. My compassion cannot be exhausted or limited in any way. Clare, I hunger and thirst for them as they hunger and thirst for me. They cannot live without me, and I cannot live to my fullest until each and every one of my chosen ones is finally home in the abode of my heart, never ever to pass away from there. Completion in heaven will not happen until they are all here, fulfilling their magnificent purpose in life. From the lowliest and most humble, who I adore, to the most outstanding, it matters not their station in life. All that matters is that they are mine, eternally secure here in my arms. Oh, how I long for them. The pain of longing for them is as it was on the cross. I longed for the completion of all things. Yes, it was good to say, it is finished, but now I long to see the finish completed with the souls I died for. You cannot even imagine the acute pain I feel every day as I watch the predestined ones wander in circles in this wasteland of a world, searching for something intangible to them. I must be there when they lay their heads down on their pillows and cry themselves to sleep because they know something really important is missing in their lives. And they've tried religion but never found me. And I weep because so many of the people in religion do not know how to bring them to me. They have the doctrine, but they don't have the love. In fact, without the love, they indeed have nothing of what I am about. The substance of my life from beginning to end was one long demonstration of love for mankind. And yet the portrayal of religion now are rules, regulations, have-tos, don'ts, and so my little ones wander empty and lost on the hillsides, so easily picked off by the wolves and lions. Clare, what did I touch you with from the beginning? Oh wow, my conversion experience was amazing. A dove formed of lightning descended down from the sky, and it came and it entered my body and it set my whole body on fire. My body was actually glowing, my husband said, and I felt this unconditional, overpowering love along with conviction of the sins that I had done in my life, my sins, and that knowledge rent me down the middle, this knowledge of my sins. And in came your love and sewed me right back up again, filled with a vibrant life that nothing in my entire life had I ever approximated in power and depth and scope. I just never had experienced anything like that. I was totally changed, and I knew that I knew that I knew that I had encountered God, and He loved me right out of myself. I was transported into a whole new land, a whole new life, a place of discovering and learning, and I knew it was the destination of my life. And the Bible became a living thing to me that I longed with all my heart to be conformed to. Yes, I knew I had finally come home. The Lord continued, This is what I intended church to be, a coming home to the safety of my arms. Yes, there are lessons to be learned, but when a soul is steeped in my love, the things they must give up seem inconsequential, so empty, yet so rarely is such a place found. Once the formality of accepting me sets in, the rule books come out and I get lost in the translation. Truly, there is not one denomination that is better than another. All have lost the meaning of the family of love, the family of God, and the love that expresses everything about my nature. And so that soul ends up living by the rules when I would have had them here in my heart, living by love. This is what is missing. It has been missing and will no longer be missing as I bring my people back to me. Love will be the order of the day, the order of every day, every night, every moment of life. So now I must scrap all these conflicting rules and regulations, statutes, books, jots, and tittles created by man. I must sweep the floor clean of all confusion, all contention, and start from scratch. Building from a foundation of love with building blocks of truth. Charity is the mortar, humility is the roof. For without humility nothing can stand. Absolutely nothing. So I want my people to understand, if they're focused on rules and formulas, they are doing me an injustice. They are feeding broken rocks to the lonely and unsaved. Judgment, criticism, scorn, and contempt because of their lifestyle is the last thing they should ever have a hint of. Instead, take one by the hand and love them. Be understanding. Listen. Comfort. Lead gently, with calm assurance that your God has what they need. The compassion. Let them see that in you. Please don't ever present legalities or rote scriptures. Rather tenderly draw them into a safe space. Befriend them. Lead them by example. Feed them the word gently. Time is so short, my bride. People are lonely and broken, sin-sick in this world. Handle them with extreme care. And at that point, it was brought to mind a vision that Ezekiel had had. He had a vision in which he was fishing in a boat with Jesus, and there were 2 other people in the boat, and the fish were floating on their sides in contaminated water, and people were grabbing them, hooking them, and throwing them into the boat. Jesus put his arm out for them to stop, and he gently leaned over the edge of the boat and tenderly placed his hand in the water under the fish and carefully, slowly brought the fish out of the water. He placed them in a live well with fresh water to keep the fish safe and oxygenated. He turned to us and began to explain, there are many, many broken and hurting souls, and you can no longer afford to bring them into the church and herd them into a group to train and mainstream them. These souls are so acutely wounded that like the fish they're drawing their last breath. These souls in such critical condition that they must be handled with extreme gentleness and care on an individual basis. Someone needs to take quality time to spend with them and help them recover first. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but on the beginning, my first few videos were on wounding waters, the worldly church, and addressed a lot of things that have turned people off in the church. The way things are done, that are done for money or social status or for conformity. I mean, so many things that have been done in churches that just don't have any place in a God-saturated environment. It's just not the way the Lord wants people handled. And that was the very first series of videos I did, I think about a year ago. But they're worth going back to and looking at because it really reveals how the world has taken over the church. And I called that wounding waters because the waters were not fresh and clean. Just like these fish were floating on their sides, obviously the waters weren't nourishing, the waters were making them sick. So the Lord continued then. He said, reach out a gentle, loving hand to the unsaved, and by your conduct, reveal to them my nature. There will come a time when you will be remembered, a critical time, when my fragrance will return to them, and they will be saved. So, while you can, the harvest is at hand. Leave my fragrance behind, and at that most critical time, it will be the deciding factor in their lives. And I have something, that's the end of the message. I have something I want to share, just a very short thing. I remember when I was in my early 30s in Phoenix, professional photographer, and I was going to buy my first house. And I got a Mennonite gentleman as a realtor. He was so meek and so gentle and so accommodating. He really struck me. I mean, there was something about this man that was so different from the world, so different from what I had experienced with other realtors. And he was just a genuinely loving and kindly person. I never forgot that. I mean, I was into the New Age and searching for the Lord, and that man made such an impression on me that I never ever forgot him. And when it came time for me to give my life to the Lord, I remembered that man, and I thought to myself, wow, why didn't I see it then? Why didn't I see it then? That was Jesus in that man that was so beautiful, so meek and tender and gentle, and so solicitous for my welfare. Just really an outstanding man. Just a little man, kind of reminded me of a turtle, kind of the face that he had, you know. It's just a real humble soul. And I bring that up to you because I think that's what really touches people. It's that authentic love and that authentic care for others that is the mark of Jesus and the fragrance of Jesus that we leave behind. So Lord bless you, family. I hope this message touches something in you. I know it surely touched me. And the Lord bless you. And thank you so much for listening. And thank you so much for your prayers.